About what are they asking one another? About the great news, that over which they are in disagreement? No, they are going to know. Then no, they are going to know. Have we not made the earth a resting place, and the mountains as stakes? And we created you in pairs, and made your sleep a means for rest, and made the night as clothing, and made the day for livelihood, and constructed above you 7 strong heavens, and made therein a burning lamp, and sent down from the rain clouds pouring water, that we may bring forth thereby grain and vegetation, and gardens of entwined growth. Indeed, the day of judgment is an appointed time. The day the horn is blown, and you will come forth in multitudes, and the heaven is opened, and will become gateways, and the mountains are removed, and will be but a mirage. Indeed, hell has been lying in wait for the transgressors, a place of return, in which they will remain for ages unending. They will not taste therein any coolness or drink, except scalding water and foul purulence, an appropriate recompense. Indeed, they were not expecting an account, and denied our verses with emphatic denial, but all things we have enumerated in writing. So taste the penalty, and never will we increase you except in torment. Indeed, for the righteous is attainment, gardens and grapevines, and full-breasted companions of equal age, and a full cup. No ill speech will they hear therein, or any falsehood, as reward from your Lord, a generous gift, made due by account, from the Lord of the heavens and the earth, and whatever is between them, the most merciful. They do not possess from him authority for speech. The day that the Spirit, i.e. Gabriel, and the angels will stand in rows, they will not speak except for one whom the most merciful permits, and he will say what is correct. That is the true, i.e. certain day. So he who wills may take to his Lord a way of return. Indeed, we have warned you of an impending punishment on the day when a man will observe what his hands have put forth, and the disbeliever will say, "Oh, I wish that I were dust." By those angels who extract with violence, and by those who remove with ease, and by those who glide as if swimming, and those who race each other in a race, and those who arrange each matter. On the day, the blast of the horn will convulse creation. There will follow it the subsequent one. Hearts that day are pounding. Their eyes are humbled. They are presently saying, "Will we indeed be returned to our former state of life? Even if we should be decayed bones." They say, "That then would be a losing return." Indeed, it will be but one shout, and suddenly they will be alert upon the earth's surface. Has there reached you the story of Moses, when his Lord called to him in the sacred valley of Tuwa, "Go to Pharaoh, indeed he has transgressed, and say to him, would you be willing to purify yourself, and let me guide you to your Lord, so you would fear him?" And he showed him the greatest sign. But he, i.e. Pharaoh, denied and disobeyed. Then he turned his back, striving, i.e. plotting. And he gathered his people and called out and said, "I am your most exalted Lord." So Allah seized him in exemplary punishment for the last and the first transgression. Indeed, in that is a lesson, i.e. warning, for whoever would fear Allah. Are you a more difficult creation, or is the heaven? He, i.e. Allah, constructed it. He raised its ceiling and proportioned it. And he darkened its night and extracted its brightness. And after that he spread the earth. He extracted from it its water and its pasture. And the mountains he set firmly, as enjoyment, i.e. provision, for you and your grazing livestock. But when there comes the greatest overwhelming calamity, the day when man will remember that for which he strove, and hellfire will be exposed for all those who see. So as for he who transgressed and preferred the life of the world, then indeed hellfire will be his refuge. But as for he who feared the position of his Lord and prevented the soul from unlawful inclination, then indeed paradise will be his refuge. They ask you, O Muhammad, about the hour. When is its arrival? In what position are you that you should mention it? To your Lord is its finality. You are only a warner for those who fear it. It will be on the day they see it as though they had not remained in the world except for an afternoon or a morning thereof. He, i.e. the Prophet, frowned and turned away, because there came to him the blind man, interrupting. But what would make you perceive, O Muhammad, that perhaps he might be purified, or be reminded, and the remembrance would benefit him? As for he who thinks himself without need, to him you give attention, and not upon you is any blame if he will not be purified. But as for he who came to you striving for knowledge, while he fears Allah, from him you are distracted. No, indeed they, i.e. the verses, are a reminder, so whoever wills may remember it. It is recorded in honored texts, exalted and purified, carried by the hands of messenger angels, noble and dutiful. Destroyed, i.e. cursed, is man. How disbelieving is he? From what thing, i.e. substance, did he create him? From a sperm drop he created him, and destined for him. Then he eased the way for him. Then he causes his death, and provides a grave for him. Then, when he wills, he will resurrect him. No, he, i.e. man, has not yet accomplished what he commanded him. Then let mankind look at his food, how we poured down water in torrents. Then we broke open the earth, splitting it with sprouts, and caused to grow within it grain, and grapes, and herbage, and olive and palm trees, and gardens of dense shrubbery, and fruit and grass, as enjoyment, i.e. provision for you and your grazing livestock. But when there comes the deafening blast, on the day, a man will flee from his brother, and his mother and his father, and his wife and his children. For every man that day will be a matter adequate for him. Some faces that day will be bright, laughing, rejoicing at good news, and other faces that day will have upon them dust. Blackness will cover them. Those are the disbelievers, the wicked ones. When the sun is wrapped up in darkness, and when the stars fall dispersing, and when the mountains are removed, and when full-term she-camels are neglected, and when the wild beasts are gathered, and when the seas are filled with flame, and when the souls are paired, and when the girl who was buried alive is asked for what sin she was killed, and when the pages are spread, i.e. made public, and when the sky is stripped away, and when hellfire is set ablaze, and when paradise is brought near, a soul will then know what it has brought with it. So I swear by the retreating stars, those that run their courses and disappear, i.e. set, and by the night as it closes in, and by the dawn when it breathes, i.e. stirs, that indeed it, i.e. the Quran, is a word conveyed by a noble messenger, i.e. Gabriel, who is possessed of power, and with the owner of the throne secure in position, obeyed there in the heavens and trustworthy. And your companion, i.e. Prophet Muhammad, is not at all mad, and he has already seen him, i.e. Gabriel, in the clear horizon. And he, i.e. Muhammad, is not a withholder of knowledge of the unseen. And it, i.e. the Quran, is not the word of a devil expelled from the heavens. So where are you going? It is not except a reminder to the worlds, for whoever wills among you to take a right course. And you do not will except that Allah wills, Lord of the worlds. When the sky breaks apart, and when the stars fall dispersing, and when the seas are erupted, and when the contents of graves are scattered, i.e. exposed, a soul will then know what it has put forth and kept back. O mankind, what has deceived you concerning your Lord, the Generous, who created you, proportioned you, and balanced you? In whatever form He willed has He assembled you. No, but you deny the recompense. And indeed, appointed over you are keepers, noble and recording. They know whatever you do. Indeed, the righteous will be in pleasure, and indeed, the wicked will be in hellfire. They will enter to burn therein on the day of recompense, and never therefrom will they be absent. And what can make you know what is the day of recompense? Then what can make you know what is the day of recompense? It is the day when a soul will not possess for another soul power to do a thing, and the command that day is entirely with Allah. Woe to those who give less than due, who, when they take a measure from people, take in full. But when they give by measure or by weight to them, they cause loss. Do they not think that they will be resurrected? For a tremendous day, the day when mankind will stand before the Lord of the worlds. No, indeed, the record of the wicked is in Sijin. And what can make you know what is Sijin? It is their destination recorded in a register inscribed. Woe that day to the deniers, who deny the day of recompense. And none deny it except every sinful transgressor. When our verses are recited to him, he says, "Legends of the former peoples." No, rather the stain has covered their hearts of that which they were earning. No, indeed from their Lord that day they will be partitioned. Then indeed they will enter and burn in hellfire. Then it will be said to them, "This is what you used to deny." No, indeed the record of the righteous is in Illiyun. And what can make you know what is Illiyun? It is their destination recorded in a register inscribed, which is witnessed by those brought near to Allah. Indeed, the righteous will be in pleasure, on adorned couches, observing. You will recognize in their faces the radiance of pleasure. They will be given to drink pure wine, which was sealed. The last of it is musk. So for this let the competitors compete. And its mixture is of tasneem, a spring from which those near to Allah drink. Indeed, those who committed crimes used to laugh at those who believed. And when they passed by them, they would exchange derisive glances. And when they returned to their people, they would return jesting. And when they saw them, they would say, "Indeed, those are truly lost." But they had not been sent as guardians over them. So today, those who believed are laughing at the disbelievers, on adorned couches, observing. Have the disbelievers not been rewarded this day for what they used to do? When the sky has been split open, and has listened, i.e. responded to its Lord, and was obligated to do so, and when the earth has been extended, and has cast out that within it, and relinquished it, and has listened, i.e. responded to its Lord, and was obligated to do so. O mankind, indeed you are laboring toward your Lord with great exertion, and will meet it. Then as for he who is given his record in his right hand, he will be judged with an easy account, and return to his people in happiness. But as for he who is given his record behind his back, he will cry out for destruction, and enter to burn in a blaze. Indeed, he had once been among his people in happiness. Indeed, he had thought he would never return to Allah. But yes, indeed, his Lord was ever of him seeing. So I swear by the twilight glow, and by the night and what it envelops, and by the moon when it becomes full, that you will surely embark upon, i.e. experience, state after state. So what is the matter with them that they do not believe? And when the Quran is recited to them, they do not prostrate to Allah. But those who have disbelieved deny, and Allah is most knowing of what they keep within themselves. So give them tidings of a painful punishment, except for those who believe and do righteous deeds. For them is a reward uninterrupted. By the sky containing great stars, and by the promised day, and by the witness and what it witnessed, destroyed, i.e. cursed, were the companions of the trench, containing the fire full of fuel, when they were sitting near it. And they, to what they were doing against the believers, were witnesses. And they resented them not, except because they believed in Allah, the exalted in might, the praiseworthy, to whom belongs the dominion of the heavens and the earth. And Allah over all things is witness. Indeed, those who have tortured the believing men and believing women, and then have not repented, will have the punishment of hell, and they will have the punishment of the burning fire. Indeed, those who have believed and done righteous deeds will have gardens beneath which rivers flow. That is the great attainment. Indeed, the assault, i.e. vengeance of your Lord, is severe. Indeed, it is He who originates creation and repeats, and He is the forgiving, the affectionate, honorable owner of the throne, effector of what He intends. Has there reached you the story of the soldiers, those of Pharaoh and Thamud? But they who disbelieve are in persistent denial, while Allah encompasses them from behind. But this is an honored Quran, inscribed in a preserved slate. By the sky and the Noka-Kama. And what can make you know what is the Noka-Kama? It is the piercing star. There is no soul but that it has over it a protector. So let man observe from what he was created. He was created from a fluid ejected, emerging from between the backbone and the ribs. Indeed, He, i.e. Allah, to return him to life, is able. The day when secrets will be put on trial, then he, i.e. man, will have no power or any helper. By the sky which sends back, and by the earth which splits. Indeed, it, i.e. the Quran, is a decisive statement, and it is not amusement. Indeed, they are planning a plan, but I am planning a plan. So allow time for the disbelievers. Leave them a while.